Hiya.
Hello.
Welcome to Geeky Girls Knit and Cross Stitch. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Dammy, also known as Dammy's Doodles.
And we're glad to have you today. Today is Thursday, the 18th of June, 2020, and this is episode 401. We will be in the 400s for the next couple of years. Fun times. We'd like to say a big welcome back. We love you guys. To all of our returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. We hope you enjoy the show. Dammy, somebody introduced themselves in the Ravelry group this week. Do you want to give them a shout out?
Sure. Ashley, who is Stitch Witch 423 from Florida.
Welcome. She said that she used to watch us and then she had a baby and kind of got away from crafting and has come back. And she posted in the 400th episode thread that her now 5-year-old watches with her and just finished her first cross stitch piece because she wanted to do it because I cross stitch. I totally cried. It was so cute. So welcome, Ashley. If you would like a shout out on the podcast, go to the Ravelry group and introduce yourself. Yep. Okay, well, we have some stuff to talk about today. We've got a review of the new issue of Pom Pom Quarterly. So we probably should get started. Here we go.
Now we're going to talk about what's on our needles. Our needles. I'm not making a project. No. Someone is supposed to teach me how to do continental knitting for a class she's supposed to teach. Has she done it yet? No. But I knit 10 rows with Brené's Softy Baby in the baby colorway.
There we go. I will teach you.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. Okay, well, I have a couple things on my needles. First up is birthday socks for my bestie's oldest son, Noah. This is from my French Vanilla Cappuccino sock pattern that you can get on Ravelry just without a heel. And I'm on US 1.5, 2.5 mil needles, the 9-inch 9-inch Hiya Sharps, which I call Zoom Zooms. And I'm using 9 different colorways, so you can go to my project page to see all of those. I'm in my project bag from Nerdbird Makery, and this stitch marker, or this progress keeper, is from Tilting Planet, and this one is from Ann Tudor. So I am actually getting close to being done with these. I think I'm at around almost 12 inches, and I need to do 14 inches. So I will measure again when I finish this color that I've just started. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do another stripe before I start on the ribbing. So I am working on those. And then the other thing that I'm working on is birthday slippers for my niece Lola, using the Bed Peds pattern by Yvonne Mendelsohn. I converted it to toe up, though. And I've been knitting US 7's 4.5 mil needles. I might change and do the ribbing in US 5, 3.75 mil, which is what the pattern calls for, but I'm not really sure why it does. So I may not. I may just stay on US 7's.
So it's tighter.
I'm thinking that it's especially for if you're doing the rolled cuff, but I'm not doing the rolled cuff. Because the rolled cuff doesn't have any ribbing, so you would want it to be tighter so that it would stay up. But this has got ribbing, so that's not really a necessity. I'm using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted in the Peapod, Cream Brulee, and Conch colorways. And project bag from Lizzie Bags and Stitch Marker from Tilting Planet. Now you might be like, hey Cece, last week you had one finished and now it's not finished. Well, that's because I ran out of the Conch colorway. I didn't even have enough to do the second stripe of Conch. So I put in waste yarn at the top of the creme brulee and then knit off of this one to be able to do this stripe. And what I'm going to do, so I'm ready for the ribbing on both of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use orange for the ribbing of both of them. And I think that that will be just fine. So that's all I have left on both of these is the ribbing. So we'll see how long it takes me to edit the podcast today to see if I have time to work on these today. Otherwise, they'll be finished tomorrow. And then I will be ready to start on a pair for one of my 2 nephews, to try to get all 3 pairs done before Stash Dash is over, which I'll talk about more in the next segment. So I think we're ready to move on to that next segment.
And now we're going to talk about her finished project.
Yes. So just one this week. This is my 24th preemie hat for the year. It's from my free top-down preemie hat pattern that you can get on Ravelry. I did it on US 6's 4mm needles, and the yarn is Patton's UK Fab in the Pebble colorway.
Patton's UK Fab GK in the Pebble.
Sorry. And so with this finish, I'm participating in Stash Dash, which is a challenge from the Knit Girls, 3 L's in Girls podcast, where you challenge yourself to complete a certain meterage of projects over the dates of the challenge. But if you finish a project, you get to count the entire meterage of the project, not just what you worked on during Stash Dash. So my goal is 1,500 meters, and with this hat, I'm at 1,152.1 meters. So I only need 347.9 meters. And I'm about to be done with a pair of slippers and a pair of socks.
Nice.
So, so knitting, crocheting, weaving, and spinning are included in Stash Dash. I have challenged myself to some cross-stitch goals that are just for me, but I'll talk about those in the next segment, which I think we're ready to move on to. And now it's time for FlossTube. What are you working on, Dammy?
What am I flossing?
What are you flossing?
A line!
Wow. That's epic.
Yeah. So, I don't know who designed this. I'm sorry. It came in an ad and I thought it was cute. So it's a bookmark. That's what it's going to look like. But I changed the colors to be all family of reds.
So what color will the daisies be?
They're all roses.
Oh, I thought those are daisies, aren't they?
It's a rose bookmark.
Okay, they look like daisies to me, but okay.
And they are obviously going to be 352 and 355. Which ones those are, I could not tell you. But they are in this bag.
They're in your hand. Oh, wait, there's 352.
Where?
Right there.
This is 152.
No, 352.
Oh, yeah.
And what's this one? Oops. 355. Here we go. These two. Yes. So you need to tell us about your bag and all of that.
So the bag I'm keeping all this madness in is from Fat Cat Creates. It's got geometric little kitties on it. I'm using a snippety again by Catty Cross Stitches. And again, needle minder from So Happy Mail, Bristol, UK.
Yes.
On Etsy.
On Etsy. And all of this is linked in the show notes. So, yes. Would you like to say anything else?
No.
Okay. Okay. In my little Notions pouch from Pearl Girl Buttons, I'm still working on Pushing Kitty number 3, which looks like this. You're doing that on a 14 count Ada, aren't you? Yes, she's on a 14 count Ada. I'm also on a 14 count Ada that came with this kit, using the 4 flosses that came with the kit. And here is my progress. I'm only working on this during my weekly Stitch With Me's on Mondays. So everything I've left is just filling in with this tan color. So I'll get it done sometime this summer. yeah, so there is that. And then I'm also, working on out of my Outlander to Better to Sleep project bag made by Stitch Toolbox. I'm also using a Snippety. Mine has a lot of floss on it. Yours doesn't right now. From Caddy Cross Stitches. And I am working on Hildy's Strawberry Patch, which is a pattern by Michelle Bindi Stitchy. And she made it into a strawberry, which I'm not doing. This is it flat before she had it made into a strawberry, but I am modifying it and adding some vines and flowers and bees down here at the bottom, just to make it be rectangular. And I'm using all the called for flosses except for one that I didn't have. And I am stitching this on Fortnite fabric from the Mushroom Collection, Alba White Truffle in the 28 count even weave. And I don't need to hold on to that. Here is where I'm at. So, finished, I don't remember where I was last week. I finished the Ladybug, finished Hildy in her little basket, and have done one of the flowers and vines with the strawberry up here. So I have 3 more vines with flowers and strawberries to do, and bees. I think there's 4 bees, and Eek Squeak and Brian the bats.
Come here, kitty. Come here.
So,
Yay.
I will stop working on this for just a little bit and do the next section of my Christmas list that I'm working on. And then get back to that. And that is part of the hashtag Bindi Hildy Sal stitch along that I'm doing with Liz, who is Bent Needle Makes on Instagram. Okay, I told y'all that I thought that I had overreached with my cross stitch goal for everything that is not Edinburgh Castle. And so I redid the math and everything, and so I bumped my goal down to 13,000 stitches. We'll see. That's still going to be a reach, but I'm going to try. So with where I finished on Pusheen and Hildy's Strawberry Patch yesterday, I am now at 3,743 stitches.
Nice.
So, my Christmas list will give me a good chunk of stitches this week as well. And then the last thing I'm working on in my Winnie the Pooh project bag from Knit Run Dig is, where is the picture? Here we go. Edinburgh Castle by Tara Luna Stitchery. And I am using Pattern Keeper software on a Kindle Fire 7. My needle minders are from Top Knot Stitchery. My grime guard is from Crab Shack Stitchery. And I'm again using a Snippety from Caddy Cross Stitches. Last week, when I showed you this is what you're seeing on the screen right now, I was at 11,400 stitches.
Wow.
And you're not going to see all the stitches because some of them are under the
Frame.
The Q-snap. But here's where I am at as of yesterday. I did, if you look on social media, I did take off this side piece and unfolded it out and took a picture and posted. And you'll also see that next week when I show you my progress. But I am, as of finishing yesterday, at 12,800 stitches out of 265,824. That puts me at 4.815% complete. So I will hit 5% complete this next week. And I've fully completed 2 of 60 pages. And for Stash Dash, my goal is to do 18,000 stitches on this. And I am, as of last night, at 5,400. So I will just continue to do 200 stitches a day. And that will more than get me there. And I'm doing this, this is a 25 count easy grid. And I am doing 2 strands over 1 and doing a 10th stitch. So I'm not doing a full cross on this. Yeah. And I'm continuing to participate in City Sane Stitchers, which is a challenge group on Facebook. I haven't completed any things this last week, so I will update you next week. I think I should have finished maybe something else, so we shall see. I will let you know. And I think that is everything for FlossTube. We do have some FlossTube or cross stitch content in Yummies. And a reminder as well that we have a cross stitch prize in our 400th episode giveaway, which we will announce winners next week. So if you didn't enter last week, you should. So, okay, I think that is everything for FlossTube. So let's move on to the next segment. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Yummies. What are Yummies, Danny?
Yummies are our current favorite things, things we like, things we want to talk to you about.
Yummies. I forgot to mention earlier, and I talked about it in my Stitch With Me, but I decided on Saturday that I was tired of my curly pink bangs. So I chopped them off, and I used the overtone pink for brown hair, which you can kind of see there. It's a little more obvious in person. It's harder to see on the camera, but sometimes you just decide, and that's just what you do. Okay, this week we got in the August 2020 issue of Just Prestidge Magazine.
Why is there Christmas on the back?
Well, because some people participate in something called Jolly July.
Oh.
Or Christmas in July stitching, but also if you're wanting to get stuff done before Christmas to be able to display.
So then are there summer patterns in the Christmas edition?
I don't know.
That's not.
There are Christmas patterns in this issue as well. I have to say that I was not thrilled with this issue.
I just saw an ad for Acorns and Threads.
There was an ad for Acorns and Threads. So if you are like a summer beachy type person, like that's pretty cute. That's the Sand and Surf needle set. And that one is that puffin, which I cannot see a puffin now without thinking about Michelle Bindi Stitchy talking about how porgs are really puffins.
Yes, I think you knew this.
Yes, I know, I did, but she talked about it in depth on one of her episodes, and so now I always think of her whenever I see a puffin. Okay, let's see. I'm looking. Sorry, I usually mark. I was not at all really impressed with the cover image pattern, but this sunflower is kind of cute. I do like sunflowers, but I would finish it like that. It's like that. This is the one that I was telling you where they pulled.
Yeah.
I was talking to her about her bookmark. This one made me laugh, but I told them that these temperatures would have to change because, 95 degrees is not ahead for the mountains, 70 degrees or something. Okay, where is the Christmas stuff? Because those were probably my favorites, were some of the ones in Christmas. So, I'm trying not to show the pattern. There we go. Here's a Christmas ornament, snowballs, 5 cents. I think that's really cute in that little pail with pom-poms in it. This snowman is pretty cute too. Is there another one? I don't think so. Let me look back here. I'm not really a patriotic person, but this sheep is cute. So if I were to stitch the sheep, I would probably just stitch the sheep and just continue the swirly pattern and not have the flag. Was there anything else that I didn't show that you wanted to show?
No.
So this was kind of an issue for me, but there that is. You got some stuff in the post this week.
I got books in the mail.
Yeah, so tell us.
I got The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I already have them physically, but they are in Louisiana. So I wanted them again. So I got the deluxe pocket edition. They're leather bound. I think it's faux leather. It says leatherette.
Yeah, that's
So,
leather.
I didn't realize when I got them that they were pocket editions. I thought they were just pretty. So they have the text print of a little itty bitty pocket Bible. But they do have all the appendices in them.
Oh, and the index.
And the indexes. So that is good. And the maps are cute too.
Yes,
So.
they remind me of tiny Bibles.
Yeah, and so it's the three of them and the Hobbit. I don't know if there's a Silmarillion one like this.
Oh, I don't know.
And then I got some more books. So I got Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. So You Want to Talk About Race by Agioma Aluo.
Which I've read that one.
Pride, a Pride and Prejudice remix by Edie Zaboy.
And I already told her I told Dammy that I wanted to read that after when she finishes.
And Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi. And so I recognize my privilege in this, that I am just starting to read these books now and not have to grow up experiencing this, and instead being able to read this. That is a privilege. And to just start doing it now instead of doing it all my life. So
We're learning. We are learning. So I'm excited to read Pride, though. I think that one sounds really, really interesting. And then, of course, I've already read the So You Want to Talk About Race. What's the other one that I read?
That is White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo.
Yes.
But I ordered that one, but I haven't gotten it yet. But I don't think I'm going to read it second or third either, because it is a book by a white woman.
Yes, it is.
And so I think I would like to prioritize some of these ones that I've gotten.
Yes. Yes. My friend Yuko from Honeyberry Studios posted, there's been some really, really cool posts about black authors and on social media this past week. But she was talking about her friend Kate or is it, I don't know if it's Kat, it's Kat, sorry, Kat Velos, who is a black author, wrote a couple books that actually, this one especially sounds interesting to me. We Should Get Together, The Secret to Cultivating Better Friendships, written and illustrated by Kat. And then there's also a book, Connected from Afar, A Guide for Staying Close When You're Far Away. And Kat wrote a really interesting piece about remembering this is not just, okay, let's support black authors this week. This has got to be something that continues. So I want to see about getting, especially We Should Get Together. This is my sweet friend, Yuko. So I want to try to get my hands on that to read. So do we have anything else for Gummies this week?
No.
I don't think so. I got some cross-stitch floss in the mail, but it was, I think it was 5 DMC skeins and then a couple of Krynics. That was all the last bits of colors that I need for when I start your birthday cat mandalas stitches. So, okay, well then let's talk about hashtag GGK Crafty Pad. What is it, Dammy?
It stands for Geeky Girls Knit Crafty Photo a Day Challenge. We have a list of photo prompts for each month, so you take a look at the prompt for that day, take a picture related to it, and post it anywhere you like, but we pick our favorites from Instagram.
Yes. And this month's theme is summertime and the living is easy, because our new owl started this month, as well as some other things. Pink is on the ottoman next to y'all and is giving her foot a bath, because as one does. There's a really funny, cute video of Pink at the end of the podcast. So what are we about to show them, Dammy?
2 photos from us that we liked and 5 photos from other people that we liked.
Here come the photos. Great job. It's never too late to join in. You take a look at the prompt for the day. Do you know what today's prompt is? Good.
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 Good. You interpret it however you wish. We're very cheater friendly on this. You post your picture on Instagram. Make sure in the caption you use hashtag GGK Crafty Pad because that's how we find your photo. If you have a private account on Instagram and you're participating in GGK Crafty Pad, you need to make sure that Dammy's Doodles is following you because otherwise we can't see your photos and then yours can't get chosen. So, and then upcoming event, I will be attending Grazing Hills Fiberfest in Viola, Idaho, Saturday and Sunday, the 11th and 12th of July. And I'll be teaching a continental knitting class on Saturday from 10 to noon. There's still space available in my class last I talked to the organizers. So, and they are doing a very, very good job about making sure social distancing is happening, providing hand washing stations and all of that. So, I am looking forward to being there. I'll be there with masks on, but that's how it's going to be. And I will have all 3 of our physical books available for purchase at the Soundview Fiber Mill booth. And we'll have samples from each of the books with me. Okay, I think that's everything for Yummies. So let's move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to.
Yes, so what are you reading?
I've not started it yet, but I'm going to start. So you want to talk about Race by Ijeoma Oluo, and she's a Seattle-based author.
Yes. Are you going to start rereading The Hobbit as well, or are you just going to focus on the one nonfiction right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
What else are you reading?
But I'm also reading The Glass Scientists, which is a webcomic by Sabrina Katungo.
So, are you getting your 15 minutes a day in?
Sure.
Most days.
Why not?
What am I referring to?
The April, May, June 2020 RAL.
Read along. So this is a challenge for you to read 15 minutes a day every day. I don't care what you're reading as long as you're reading. Audiobooks do count. There is the seasonal alongs, and then from those you earn entries into the year-long challenge, and we'll have 3 grand prizes at the beginning of 2021. All the details are in the show notes at
geekygirlsknit.com.
And in the Ravelry group as well. All right, I finished a lot of books this week. I finished reading Fibershed, Growing a Movement of Farmers, Fashion Activists, and Makers for a New Textile Economy by Rebecca Burgess. Really enjoyed this one. It was very informative. I learned a lot. So I would highly recommend this if this is something that you're interested in, and I think it's something that we should all be interested in, trying to understand and learn more about where the fibers, where the dye, where everything that we are wearing on our bodies is coming from. Yeah. So, and then I also finished reading Love Warrior by Glennon Doyle. This is a memoir, and then I am on the hold list for her newest release, which is Untamed, and I'm really looking forward to reading that one. I am continuing to reread Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, book number 5 in the series, along with the Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast and Swish and Flick and All Potter podcast. This was the second week for In the Hog's Head because Swish and Flick split it up. So I finished reading books 7 and 8 in the Detective D.D. Warren series by Lisa Gardner. This is a police detective series, a female detective. I read Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, is what I'm going to guess. This is definitely a fantasy series. This is the first book in the series about necromancers, and they've been divided up into like 9 different houses type thing, and then now they're trying to the I don't even know how to totally explain it, but like things are going bad, and so they've like all come together to try to learn this information that they need to try to help save their worlds. So at first when I started reading it, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but I stuck with it, and I'm glad I did because it was good. I finished reading Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. This is a fairly short book. It is about two children that they catch on fire. Like it doesn't burn them, but when they are, especially when they're like very angry, their body's set on fire. And it's about this woman who is caring for them, and just she learns a lot, and the kids learn a lot about themselves, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And then I just started reading The 10,000 Doors of January. January is a person, a young woman, by Alex E. Harrow, and this is set in the early 1900s, and this girl she's a young girl when this book starts, but there's doors, and like you step through them, and it's a different world. So I just started reading this last night, so we shall see how it goes. I've heard really, really good things about it, so I've been on the hold list for it for a little while. So, watching. I started watching the fourth and final series of Whitechapel, which is a police procedural set in the UK, and the cases are highly influenced by historical cases. I watched the first two episodes because it's, at least in these later series, it's 2 episodes are for a complete storyline. So there's 2 more storylines in series 4. Do you want to talk about...
We finished rewatching season 9, and now we're on to season 10 of Frasier.
Yes. There's a knot in my yarn. I was like, what is that? What am I feeling? Niles and Daphne got married.
Mm-hmm.
And then Niles just had open heart surgery.
Why? Like, what was the point of that storyline?
He had blockages in his heart.
No.
Oh.
What was the point of the storyline?
I don't know. They needed something new to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it for 10 seasons. I mean... So, anyway. The Dr. Hubs and I finished rewatching season 1, and we're rewatching season 2 of Psych, which is a comedic suspense, according to Amazon, about a psychic. He's not really psychic, but he pretends that he is a private detective that helps the police department.
We're watching Cabin Fever by John Finnemore, which is based on his BBC4 radio drama Cabin Pressure. He said he would stop, I think, after 26. So.
Radio drama or radio comedy?
Both.
Did you...
No.
It was a puzzle, and there's a puzzle in this episode. I couldn't figure it out either. But I'll just wait till he tells me the answers. I am watching the 7th and final season of The 100, or not The 100, it's called The 100. Which is a science fiction show.
We're watching season 7, which is the final season of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What's his name from...
Sousa.
Yes, from Agent Carter was in it, and Simmons pretended like she was Agent Carter. Mm-hmm. It was funny. I'm watching the 5th and final season of Blind Spot. Not Jane. What's the other lady's name? Oh.
Zapata.
Zapata. She found out that she's pregnant with oh crap, what's his
Reed?
with Reed's baby. But
Didn't he die?
He did die. Yes. So, and then I'm watching season 6 of Good Witch. Listening to my favorite murder podcast as always. This was a 2018 show that was for today's live show for today's episode. I'm also binge listening to the Unlocking Us with Brene Brown podcast. Really love her work. I got to meet her many years ago, and I just love her work. So I'm excited to be listening to the podcast. She had I have not listened to the episode yet, but she had Austin Channing Brown on last week, and then she has Laverne Cox on this week talking about her new groundbreaking documentary, Disclosure: Trans Lives on Screen. So I'm excited to listen to that. Wait, that's the same author as one of the books you got.
Yes, I also bought that one. It just hasn't come yet.
Oh, Ibram X. Kendi. There's an episode back at the beginning of June for that, with that author. So, yeah, so there's lots of really good information. What are you listening? Oh, I'm also listening to just random Spotify playlists, and my CC's Faves playlist is in the show notes.
Kevin Preshner and my Songs of Resilience playlist is in the show notes.
All right, that is everything we are reading, watching, and listening to. Somebody's being very loud with their motorcycle. Let's move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about the June, July, August.
Summertime and the living is easy.
Meow. Meow. So, this runs from the 1st of June to the 31st of August, and it is for any project that you can knit, crochet, weave, spin, stitch, or sew. You can convince us is related to summer.
Pinky, can you do any of those things?
No, I only sleep and poop.
And eat, sometimes.
Sometimes. I do the other two.
I don't like one of the foods that they got for me, even though last time they got it, it was my favorite.
They got a better one this time, and that one's my favorite. Now I only want that one. No, you need to help me.
No, I don't want to help you.
There are a couple main rules for this owl. First is that your project cannot have been begun before the 1st of June, and you have to finish it no later than the 31st of August. And the other main rule is that each project that you knit, crochet, weave, or spin must be at least 20 yards. If your project is not at least 20 yards, you need to group it together in a single post together with other projects that total at least 20 yards.
I don't think she wants to help you. Oh my goodness.
Anyway. For stitching and sewing projects, we leave it up to your best judgment if they're big enough. You can feel free to polydip in other alongs as long as it fits in with the other rules. That's totally fine. Thank you so much to all the wonderful donors of our prizes, which are currently on our screen right now. If you're interested in donating a prize for this or a future owl, you can PM Java Pearl on Ravelry or email us at geekygirlsknit@gmail.com. And if you want to see where all these prizes came from, you can go to our show notes, geekygirlsknit.com, or tune into the first podcast of every month-ish when we talk about them in detail. I need you to scroll.
Sorry, I was looking at my
Oh, she's going to make your cheers spin.
knitting.
You must be a member of the Geeky Girls Knit and Cross Stitch podcast / FlossTube group on Ravelry in order to participate. That's too many words. There's a hashtag if you'd like to post on social media or tag your projects. It's GGKCS Summertime 20. The FO thread will be locked on the morning of the 1st of September, and winners will be drawn for the next podcast after that. And any winners will have 30 days to claim their prize or they forfeit it. Speaking of which, as a reminder, we still have some people from the Spring Owl who have not claimed their prizes, and I'm not sure when the 30 days is, but I'm sure it's sometime soon. So Go and
It's
watch.
beginning of July, in the beginning of July, because we announced the winners the beginning of June.
That's sooner than it might be. So go see if you were a winner and
Yes.
contact this one. There is a chatter thread on Ravelry where you can post about your progress and where I congratulate people who finish projects, but I also do that here. So, D-Door4, Falling Star 12, Frymeister, Joe Didia, Niche Fantasy, Netter Chow, Little Angel SG2, Lena's Design, Elle McCall, Little Mermaid, Meditative Crafter, Mystery Sewer, Nikki Knits, and Silver Luna 2112.
Great job, everybody. Keep working on those projects. You have almost 2.5 months to get them finished and posted, and you might be a winner. All right, let's move on to the next segment.
And now it's time for Ask the Geeky Girls, a part of our show where you ask us things and we try to answer them.
Yes, so what is this week's question?
This week's question is from Jane, who is Janie B from the UK. Do you still store your stash open on a bookshelf like you did in Edinburgh? What are your stash management and storage tips? So I'll go first. My room has bookshelves that are built into the wall as part of the closet. And so yes, my stash is on there on one of those shelves, but my stash management and storage tips are to not have one.
To not have a stash?
Yes. To sell most of your yarn. And then, because now my stash only takes up half of the shelf, the other half of the shelf has books on it now.
Okay. Yes, I still store my stash open on a bookshelf. In fact, if you watch any of my Stitch With Me's, that bookshelf is right behind me in those videos. And I have it kind of separated by yarn weight. I'm like looking because the shelf is like right in there. And I try at least once a year to take everything off the shelf and, you know, go through it and make sure those yucky bugs that can really destroy a yarn stash haven't gotten in there. And
she co-opts me to help her do this.
Mm-hmm. And just to see if there's anything that I've decided I don't want in my stash anymore. When that happens, it usually goes in the prize tub to give away to y'all as prizes. And it's not because I don't like it. It might just be like, okay, well, that color doesn't really appeal to me. Mm-hmm. You know, I had several skeins of this and I knit a project, but I still had a full skein left. And, you know, so things like that. Stash management, I highly, highly, highly recommend using Ravelry's
Stash feature.
Stash, that's what I was like, words. Stash feature.
Oh dear.
What's wrong? Oh dear. Are you gonna have to like think back a lot?
I don't think so. I just started this one.
Okay. All of my yarn is in my Ravelry stash. I take pictures of everything, and it's all listed in there, and that makes it so handy. Like, if there's a new pattern that I want to knit, I can look and see what yarn I have available in that weight. You know, the called for weight of the pattern. So, I really, really highly recommend using that feature to manage your stash. And if you have a large stash and you're not using the Ravelry stash feature, I mean, you could just make it a goal of, okay, every day I'm going to take pictures of 5 skeins of yarn and post them. Mm-hmm. You know, it'll take, 15, 20 minutes to take the pictures and put the, search for the yarns on Ravelry and put them in your stash. And by doing that, you can also, that helps you go through your yarn and, again, make sure nothing's gotten in there that shouldn't have. If there's skeins that you decide you don't want anymore, things like that. That's how I keep mine organized, and together. So, thank you for the question, Jane. That was a really good question. And, Dammy, if somebody has a question for us, what should they do?
Go to our Ask the Geeky Girls thread on Ravelry Go to our Ask the Geeky Girls thread in our Ravelry group and post it, or you can post in the comments of the YouTube video and we will copy it over to our thread.
I thought I was on my last row on this color on this, but I don't think I am. Apparently I can't count. So, okay, let's move on to the next segment.
And now we have a review.
The new issue of Pom Pom Quarterly, issue number 33, summer 2020. This is one of 2 covers.
It comes in a really cute envelope now.
They always pack it up really, really nicely.
And they pack it in cute little paper. They wrap it in little paper.
And what's the first thing that I do when it arrives?
Yummy.
Oh, because it smells so good.
And then Pink looks at us like she's scared, because she is.
Yes. All right. So we start. Isn't that illustration beautiful?
The only thing wrong with it is that there's no cash in that picture.
I know, and no coffee. There's a lemon or the lemonade drink type. It looks like.
How do you know there wasn't alcohol in it?
I would
been better.
I would have taken a hard lemonade. There's a the letters from the editor talking about, you know, things have changed since they put out this call and everything. So yeah. Okay, I'm trying to get to the pattern pages. Okay, here we go.
Cuddle Q by Sandra Gutierrez.
There we go. So this Cuddle Q is an Aztec earth goddess, known as Serpent Skirt for her clothing woven of snakes, a symbol of fertility. So Sandra, who designed this, looked to the shapes and colors of plants and to, I don't know how to say that,
Rachel.
art in her homeland of Mexico. So this comes in 9 sizes from 80 to 160 centimeters, 31.5 to 63 inch finished bust, worn with 1 to 3 inches of positive ease. Again, I always love that Pom Pom puts in information about the model's height, what their chest circumference is, and what size they're wearing. So, for example, this model is 5'8" and has a chest circumference of 36 inches and is wearing size 3. So, this is done with a sport weight yarn, 3 different colors, using a 4mm USG crochet hook and a 3.5mm USE crochet hook, worked in the round from the bottom up, beginning with a color work chart, and then it separates at the underarm, using a crochet mosaic technique, which Dammy and I are not crocheters, so we don't know a lot about crocheting, but it's beautiful.
I thought it was knitted. I'll be honest. I thought it was knitted.
Oh, it's crocheted.
I know.
This is probably my favorite pattern. This is Ardent by Amalia Sieber. I love those ruffly sleeves.
I used to have a shirt that looked like the back of that.
So this is an abstracted intarsia sunburst, alongside details like color blocked ruffle sleeves and a high-low hemline. Ardent references shimmering heat waves and the effects of sunrises and sunsets. Here's some more pictures. And I love that they, and they said this, let's see, where was it? Clean folded hems help the tee to fall with a tidy line, while the split seam helps achieve a perfect fit around medical devices, mobility aids, and the lines of your unique body. So I love that they're being very inclusive with that. This comes in 9 sizes with a chest circumference of 38 to 70 inches, worn with 8 to 10 inches of positive ease. It's done with a sport weight yarn in 3 colors, using 3.75mm US 4 needles. Worked flat, beginning at the front hem, worked up to the shoulders, and then down to the back hem. Oh, that's cool. And then stitches are picked up around the armhole for the ruffled sleeve. Oh, and it gives information about if you want to add or remove length from the body. How to do that to make it work correctly. So that is probably my favorite out of the book, or out of this issue. Next one is
Naca Rat by Rachel Reese. This one is my favorite. I liked them all, but like, I like this one. I don't know.
So it was designed to look like it's melting away from the body. Rachel found inspiration on a beach near her home. It's fully reversible. Naca Rat refers to a shimmering orange-red, the color of the dawn sky.
Oh, it's probably Naca Rat.
Oh, okay.
Like carrot gold.
Oh, okay. This is one size. It's got an 85-inch wingspan, and it's 27 inches deep at the center. It's done in a fingering 4-ply weight yarn in 2 colors, using a 3.25 mil US 3 needles. Worked flat, beginning at one long edge, and then stitches are decreased on one side until the end point is reached. 2 color brioches worked back and forth until midway through the shawl, then columns of brioche are replaced with stockinette stitch sections along the wingspan of the triangle. Look how the diagram laid out.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, the next up is Delta by Isa.
I don't know. I keep saying things with a French accent. Isa Catepion?
Okay. So the symbol for fire in is it
Alchemy.
alchemy, but it's got the AL on the end. Alchemy.
Alchemy. Alchemist, alchemical, alchemy. It's just alchemy.
Even though it has the AL at the end?
Yes.
Okay.
In alchemy.
Text. Version of the symbol for fire is a version of the mathematical symbol for change, triangle, otherwise known as delta in the Greek alphabet. This is crocheted, and there it is. I love the gathering right there at the waist. And this comes in 9 sizes with a finished chest circumference of 29.5 to 62.5 inches to be worn with 0 ease. It's done with sport weight yarn using 3.5 mil US E and a 2.75 mil US C crochet hook. And they talk about how you can lengthen and shorten the shoulder straps. Yeah, it's very pretty. Very pretty. Next up is Sun Wake by
Winke Peterman.
So this was inspired by the sunlight sparkle on waves. That's basically nature's glitter. So this design made them think of the trail of sun along the waves. And it's really great for layering, as a layering piece. Very, very pretty. I love the color they chose for it, too. Okay, this is available in 8 sizes with a finished circumference of 32.5 to 60.5 inches with 0 to 2 inches of positive ease. And they actually have 2 models modeling this one. There's a blue version and the
Burgundy.
Burgundy maroon version. Blackberry is the color. And it's done with sport weight yarn, and they used 100% cotton yarn for this, which is really nice for summer, using a 3.5 mil US 4 and a 3 mil US 2.5 needles. Worked in the round from the bottom up to the underarm, and then the front and back are worked separately. And they give information about lengthening or shortening the pattern. Okay, next up is a shawl, Heliotropic by Erica Sufka. It draws on her childhood memories of her mother's garden. She recalls it encircled by a protective border of sunflowers and the tactile sensations of playing there in the hot sun with the warm grass beneath her bare feet. Very pretty. Oh, I just lost my place. There we go. So this comes in one size. It's got 58-inch top edge and 37-inch inches deep at the left edge. Done with a fingering 4-ply, one color, 3.5 mil US 4s circular needles. It's worked sideways in a garter and lace eyelet pattern, then finished with an all-over lace section and a picot bind-off.
Nice.
It's very pretty. I would love to see... Oh, there's a picture of it all stretched out.
Hello?
I don't understand. I would love to, but I could search the web for it.
I don't know why Siri thought I was talking to him.
You said I would love to see.
There is it all out. I would love to see it in a yellow. Because of the inspiration of the sunflowers. I think it would be really, really pretty knit up in a yellow colorway. Okay, next up, Filament by Paula
Pereira.
So, images of the sun show that its surface is dappled as though in various degrees of heat and flame. Contributing are plumes of gases, solar flares, sunspots, etc. And the phenomenon of filaments, strands of cool gas held in suspension by magnetic fields that appear dark against the sun's bright disk. So the designer created this similarly modeled surface using easy angular color work. Very, very pretty. I love the band of solid at the bottom. And I like the shoulders. I think it's a really pretty look. Okay, so this comes in 9 sizes with from 33¼ to 64¾ inch finished chest circumference with 2.5 to 4.5 inches of positive ease. Using a light fingering weight yarn in 3 colors, a US 2.5 3 mil needle and US 3.25 mil needle. Knitted in the round from the bottom hem to the underarm, and then front and back are worked separately. Underarms and shoulders are seamed. Very, very pretty. I actually think I might like this one. I might like to knit this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really nice. Okay, next up is...
Right there. Goonish.
Goonish. I was like, I have no idea how to say this.
By SG, probably SG Tandogen. Oh, not.
So this is a crocheted bag using blocky graphic shapes. You said, what was it? Goonish?
Goonesh.
That's what I'm looking at. I was trying to confirm with you. That is the Turkish word for the sun, which the designer describes as her source of happiness. Okay, so this obviously comes in one size, 10 inches long, not including the handles, by 12 inches wide by 1¼ inches deep. Using an Aran weight yarn in 5 colors, a 3 mil US 2.5 crochet hook. It uses a jacquard crochet technique without carrying unused yarns. Front and back are worked separately, and then additional rows are worked around the bottom and sides of each piece to add depth. They also recommend making a fabric lining to put inside it. Very pretty. Okay, and then we have...
Cupola by Natalia Sinelshikova.
This is a texture tank that has everything going for it. Half-twisted rib, lateral braid, lace, and a twisted fringe. Designed to resemble sunbeams cascading earthward.
Sunbeams cascading earthward.
Thank you. It didn't sound right. Kupala is a traditional Slavic solstice festival. So here we go. Yes, there's more pictures.
What are you doing?
So this comes in 10 sizes, 30 1/4 to 60 3/4 inch finished chest circumference with worn with either 1 inch negative ease or up to 2 inches positive ease, depending on how you want to wear it. It's done with DK weight yarn in one color using 3.25 mil US 3 and 3.5 mil US 4 circular needles and a 3.25 mil USD crochet hook. I'm guessing that that's to do the fringe. It's knit from the bottom up in the round to the underarm, front and back worked separately in rows to the top of the shoulder straps. The twisted fringe is knit as you go without breaking the yarn. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Oh, it's a crochet join for shoulder seams. Okay, that is really interesting that the fringe is done. Where does it talk about the fringe? Because that's really interesting. Doody 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 doo. See, I should have looked at this ahead of time, and I didn't do that. I mean, I looked through it, but I didn't realize. Oh, here we go. Oh, it does use a crochet hook to help with the fringe. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that's kind of a cool technique. That you're not cutting the yarn for the fringe. Okay, and then we have...
Azimuth by Julia Wilkins.
It's a reimagining of a vintage knit tennis top. The sun's azimuth is the angle between the sun and the Earth's true north. You use it to calculate solar altitude and the direction of sunlight. And it comes in 8 sizes from 33 to 61 inch finished chest circumference, worn with 2 to 4 inches of positive ease, done with fingering 4-ply weight yarn in 2 colors, and there's a long version and a short version. Using 2.75 mil US 2. Okay, depending on the size worked, using either that and 3.75 mil US 5 needles. Knit seamlessly from the bottom up. It's got brioche stitch. The vertical ridges of the brioche are crossed by horizontal lines of a semi-transparent eyelet pattern in a contrasting color. Interesting. So yeah, so it looks like it's got a couple options for length. And then also in this issue we have the Sunlink Scrunchie pattern by Marjan Gouda. So there are some scrunchies for you. So this, there is a tutorial for how to do this. And it's using a DK weight yarn. And you can have it with a bow or without, using a 3 mil US 2.5 crochet hook. The scrunchie and the bow are worked separately. So you have your options. And then we have all the patterns. The recipe for this issue is the Sunburst Pasta by Kat Golden. And she made her own pasta to do this. So that's kind of cool. And that is everything. Oh, they don't have the thing where they have all of the stuff on the back. Was it up here? Did they have a picture with everything? Maybe not. Oh, no, I know where it was. It was on this page. I was like, I know I've seen it somewhere. There we go. So there are all of the things from this issue. We both already said our favorites. Very well done. I really enjoyed this issue. And, yeah, maybe I'll knit something from it. We shall see. Definitely check it out. It's available on Ravelry as a digital download, or you can subscribe to the magazine. So, there we go. All right, well, I think we are ready to move on to the next segment. With that, we're to the end of the show. Yay! Again, a reminder that last week we announced our 400th episode giveaways. We have 5 different giveaways from Soundview Fiber Mill, 2 different giveaways for 2 skeins of yarn and 1 for 2 bumps of roving. We have the Knit Crate undyed sock yarn and Kool-Aid to dye it with. We have the cross stitch giveaway, the 2 floss holders and a cross stitch planner. And then from us, one person's going to win all 10 of our ebooks. The giveaways are in the Ravelry group. So if you have not yet entered, you need to do that before next week's episode, and because that's when we're going to announce the winners. And you'll have 30 days to claim your prize if you are a winner. I don't think there's any other announcements, so let's talk about our normal stuff. A huge thank you. We love you guys so much. To everyone who supports the podcast. So many people, their words that they've said this week about, where we've coming to 400 episodes, which is a huge deal. So we really appreciate those kind words. But a big thank you, especially those of you who support us financially. It does cost money to do a podcast. We've got all the prizes that we're mailing out, technology, behind the scenes stuff. So if you would like to support the podcast financially, there's 3 ways you can do that. First is Patreon, which is a site where you pledge a certain amount a month to your favorite creatives, and you earn rewards based on the level you donate at. If you would like to know more about that or would like to sign up, you can go to
patreon.com/geekygirlsknit.
What's another way?
There's a PayPal button in the sidebar of our website if you'd like to make a one-time donation.
And we are amazon.com.co.uk and .ca affiliates. If you're going to shop on Amazon, if you go to our website first and click on the appropriate link in the sidebar or at the bottom of the show notes, do your shopping as normal. We earn a little money back based on what you purchased. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it's a great way to support the podcast by doing something you'd be doing anyway. All right, why don't you tell them where they can find us online?
You can find us at geekygirlsknit.com. There are links to wherever else we are online: YouTube, iTunes, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Well, with that, we're going to tell you goodbye. We hope you have a lovely weekend ahead. Stay safe, stay healthy, and support each other. And we will be back. I'll be back with you on Monday for another Stitch with Me, and we'll be back with you again next Friday for episode 402. Until then, happy crafting. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness, you falled over. What's going on? What is this? Oh, is it your catnip ball? I get it back, Dammy. Hold it up and see if she'll try to get it from you. Oh my goodness!
No, Pinky.
Oh, good girl!
Oh no, you're gonna eat me.
Oh my goodness!
Fall over.
Oh no, I just will taste it.
Fall over.
Oh, this is my ball. You can't have it. No, Jamie. Don't take my ball. Don't take my ball.
Bunk. Ah! What was that?
I'm going to be lazy and still try to get it.
Ah! What are you doing?
I tried to get it. You know, give it to me. Oh, Jamie.
Okay, fine. I guess you don't want it. Oh.
I'm tired of you humans and your tricks. Making me perform. Oh, do I want the feather or the catnip? Tough decision. I walk away.
Stand. Stand up. Stand up. Your breath is stinky.
Think I have fish.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you holding my hand.
Give it to me, Dammy, please.
Fall over. Fall over.
Oh, her got it. Good girl.
Zombie bunny.
I will protect it. I will hold it right here in my paws.